Hey YouTube, today we're going to look at my new to me, sauer p226, and we're going to compare it to the Norinco NP-22. Now, this isn't a direct copy of this one, it's a copy of a pre-92 or 94, I believe, so there are slight differences. The first one, looking at both of these, this one has the extractor claw on the outside, whereas the Norinco has it on the inside. And this is what the older SIGs look like. Of course, the finish is much nicer on the real SIG. Norinco, it's so-so. Better grips than these. That's from the outside. Let's take a look at the inside. I'm going to take the slide off. The gun is safe. Same with the SIG. Gun is safe, no mag. So let's look at the frames first. So the first thing you'll notice is this the locking block. This one is partially on the outside, the rail, whereas on the SIG it's all contained. Now again, it's hard to really compare these apple to apples because this is the original early SIG design and this is much newer. So maybe the old SIG had this, I am not completely sure. The decocker levers are slightly different, I noticed too. But other than that, these look pretty similar to me. Let's have a look at the slides. The sights are much better on the SIG. These are night sights. These are crappy old normal sights. You can tell the slide's thicker here and thinner here and round on the SIG and flat on Norinco. Turning them over. It's probably the biggest difference. All these parts here, this is all hollow here, hollowed out, whereas this is a solid block of metal here on the Norinco. The barrels out. You can also notice slight differences here. The Norinco tapers down to a thinner part, whereas the SIG is a straight line back where the barrel locks in. Now looking at the two barrels, they are actually quite similar. The Norinco has this taper here, whereas the SIG is more flat. And the feed ramps are significantly different, as you can tell. Now I tried putting the Norinco barrel in the SIG slide and it fit and it cycled, but it didn't always fully lock in correctly, so I would not try firing it. Maybe it would work, maybe it won't. I don't want to get anything jammed. There's no point really. Now one more thing we're going to do is take off the grips here really quick. Show you one more difference between these two. Off, you'll find a few differences. This trigger bar spring, this is the old design, this is the new one. You can tell this one, when you pull the trigger, it rubs here on the frame. This frame is slowly eroding away. It'll take a long time before it gets there, but it's still worth note. I heard this happens on the old SIGs as well. Whereas this one, no rubbing on the frame, maybe here, but it doesn't seem to be anywhere, and this one's had more rounds through it. And the second biggest thing is the spring here, I guess the main spring. This is in a little plastic piece, and I don't know, I think the spring is actually shorter on the newer SIGs. This was the original design where the main spring would rest in this little notch here that would go into the frame. And this is really, really, really hard to remove. Well, much harder than this one anyway. Of course, you gotta lower the hammer, and then it'll be easier, but I found this to be very tough to remove. Okay, there you have it. I would probably do actually another thing is the trigger is different. Here, this is hollowed out trigger. It's thicker, this is much thinner. But anyway, that's most of the differences that I noticed. I will do a full field strip of both at some point and give it a try. See if anything else is different. Another thing is actually this spring is aftermarket. It's a Wolf spring, 17 pounds, and this is a stock one. I did use my pull gauge to figure out both the double and single action. The real SIG is only slightly better, maybe by half a pound in both modes at the moment. Before I put this new spring in, this was like 18 pounds of pull, which is completely ridiculous. Now it's down to about 10.5. This one's about 10. The single action's always been good. Never had any complaints with that. It was always around 5 or so. But now it's around 4.5, and this one's 4 point something. But yeah, triggers are pretty nice in both after the spring replacement. And I did have a chance to shoot both at the range, and they both shoot just fine. No failures of any kind in either. SIG's just a little nicer overall. Nicer sights and nicer grips. A nicer finish. But they both go bang each time. So anyway, hope that helps give you an insight of this actual SIG 226 and the Chinese copy, Norinco NP-22.